Powers here, talking about accountability. Accountability is such an important factor in leadership. Once I had a salesperson and we were having a sales meeting, and he was sitting across from me at the desk. And underneath my glass of my desktop, I had this sign that said, "Please hold me accountable." And I could tell he was kind of squirming around today. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I don't want to be held accountable." Well, we moved on from there. But accountability is such a big factor in being successful as a human being. We have to be held accountable. First of all, accountability starts with clear expectations of what needs to be done. Either we understand what we're supposed to do, or the people we're trying to hold accountable understand what they're supposed to do. Anyway, we have to make sure they're clear. We have to have a clear commitment by the person that's being held accountable. If they don't say, "I'm going to do X, Y, Z by a certain date," that clearly and concise of a statement, and you just tell them what to do, and then they just nod and maybe they move on to the next subject. You don't have commitment. Make sure you get that commitment. And then people need to be held accountable. Things get in the way. There's so many things out there to distract us, to keep us from performing at our peak level. We need to be held accountable. When we know we're going to go into an accountability meeting, in other words, they're going to ask us, "How did that go?" Well, if we haven't done anything towards that goal since the last time we met, and I'm preparing for that meeting, I'm probably going to do something towards that goal. So if nothing else, I'm going to get more done than I would have done had I not had the meeting for accountability. There's so many ways to make excuses for why we don't get things done. And it's okay to go through, what are the obstacles and what's getting in the way of you performing at your top level. But if you're going to be held accountable for what you committed to, you're more likely going to find a way to do it. It's going to kind of take out procrastination and get rid of your excuses because you're going to be held accountable. This is going to prove to have better results for you and the organization that you work with. This will build momentum when there's a culture of accountability. Everybody doesn't want to let everybody else down. For the most part, I don't believe people go to work and say, "I want to just really mess up my boss today by not doing what I'm supposed to do." Most people want to have success achieving what's necessary for the day. Sometimes it's easier than other days. Sometimes it's harder than other days. But most of the time, I think most people want to please, the people they work around. This helps build momentum for the organization. And, one thing about accountability partners, make sure you find somebody you can trust, you can share deep things about what you're trying to achieve, and you really trust that person. He or she is looking out for your best interest. And then you might have external partners too. Like if it could be your customers, like, "Hey, if I haven't called you by next week, please give me a ring or let me know." Now, it's really not up to them to hold you accountable if they're your customer. But let's say a vendor, like you're looking into buying something to fix something or do something, and you want to make sure you take care of that. The vendor can remind you, "Hey, next week, I'll call you if I haven't heard from you." "Oh, that'd be great." Well, that's accountability. It's not something onerous. It's something helpful. So if we can look at accountability as helping each other achieve more together and build systems around that, we can achieve a lot more. So next time you hear the word accountability, it's not a dirty word. It is something that can really help you and your team achieve more. Thank you. God bless.